Hi guys, Akshata here from Akshata's Recipes. I thought I'd just pop in before I start with the video. So today's recipe is this instant chicken puff recipe, and it's so easy to make. So you make this eggless puff pastry at home. You can also go for the ready-made puff pastry. You get it at in Crawford Market. You get it on Hill Road. You get it online. You get it even I think at national stores in on Bazaar Road in Bandra West. So, but I like to make mine at home, and it's super simple. Like you will see, I leave the recipe at the end of the video. It's super simple. All you require is some corn flour, some ghee, and some maida to make it, and that's it. So the chicken filling is also very easy, as you will see in the recipe, and you can make these instantly. Like you have your the puff pastry ready, and you have your filling ready. Get your oven preheated, put this into the molds and just bake it. So I hope you try out this recipe, and I'll catch you at the other end of the video. And also I have a new oven, so I'm so excited about my old oven sadly conked off. As many of you who have been following me right from 2017 knew that I was using a Bajaj Majestic, but I've shifted on to a Morphe Richards, which is such a compact and like a smart kind of a OTG. I do have a microwave. I've tried baking in the convection mode, but it's just not the same as an OTG. For those of you who know what the outcome of an OTG when you're making brownies and cakes and pastries and puffs, it's just different from a convection. So you all will see my new OTG in the video. I'll leave a link of it in my Amazon in my shop list, so you can go and check it out. And I'll catch you at the end of the video. So let's start by making the filling. So here I've heated a pan, and I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of butter, preferably at room temperature. Once the butter melts really well in the pan, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of maida or all-purpose flour. If you want to make this healthy, you can also go with olive oil instead of butter, and also add chapati atta or whole wheat atta instead. Now let the flour nicely get fried in the butter, and then I'm going to add a whole cup of milk. So the ratio is 1:1:1. That is 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of flour, and 1 cup of milk. And now you're going to nicely stir this so that it's lump free. Press down any lumps of flour that you find, and make this into a really smooth kind of a sauce. Scrape the sides as well. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of shredded and cooked chicken. So basically I took 1 chicken breast. I added it to some boiling water, about 3 cups of boiling water. Let it cook for about 5 to 10 minutes till the chicken turned completely white. Took it out of the water, set it aside till it came to room temperature, and shredded it. I didn't add any salt, etc. And now I'm just going to mix this chicken in with this white sauce or this bechamel sauce. And now we just have to season it. So first I'm going to add about 3/4 of a tablespoon of pepper powder. This requires a lot of pepper. Mix this really well. Then I'm going to flavor it with some salt to taste. Then I'm going to add, now this is optional, but I like to add some Italian seasoning, just about half a teaspoon, and half a teaspoon of red chilli powder. Mix everything well, and this is your filling. Transfer it to a bowl and let it come to room temperature. So this is my new oven. It's really very compact, and I've baked quite a few things already. It just came like a week ago. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be preheating my oven. So this is like the preheat function, and now I want to change the temperature. So I press the middle knob in the center, and it goes to the temperature. So I want to keep this on 180. And then I go to the below. This is like the upper rack and the lower rack, which happens in an OTG. So I have a microwave. I've tried cooking in that and convection, but I like OTG is amazing. So I'm going to keep it at 8 minutes only, and then I'm just going to press this start button, and then this lovely fancy light comes on. So we're going to preheat the oven for 8 minutes on 180 degrees Celsius, and I'll show you how I do the rest of the procedure. Start. So this is the puff pastry I made yesterday. I used half of it, and I've kept the rest. Now I got these little molds that you get. I got these at Cheap Jack. So I'm just going to butter them lightly, so that the chicken puff comes out really quickly from this. Now I've buttered all the molds. That's very important. Okay, so now I'm going to roll out this puff pastry of mine. You can use how much ever you want. So this is a very simple recipe, this puff pastry. It has no egg or anything in it. I'm leaving the video at the end so you can check it out. So now I'm just going to roll this into 1 inch thickness. That is, this part should be around 1 inch. Take a vati like this or any round mold and just cut circles of this shape. You can use any round or mold that you have. Take out the excess flour. Okay. We're going to save this for later. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place this inside the mold like this. Okay, and let it get the shape of the mold. You know, this design that it has at the side. Just press it down. Remove the excess. It comes off very easily like this. Okay. So I'm going to just do all of these and then I'll catch you again on this. So I'll just show you one more. So just press it down. See that it goes properly into the mold like this. Remove the excess. So I'll just do the remaining and catch you later. Okay, so I've filled up all of these. Now we're going to take the filling. The filling that we prepared. Okay. And we're just going to put a generous amount in the center. Don't overfill it, don't underfill it. It should just be like this, so it gets in level like this with it's not over the top. So just fill all of these with this filling. Now one tip about this puff pastry is that you have to keep it refrigerated if you're not going to be using it. So keep that in mind. And if you want to buy ready-made puff pastry, you get it at Crawford Market, you get it at Hill Road, you get it at Bazaar Road, at I think National Bakery in Bazaar Road. Or you can make this one which I make at home, which is really easy. All you require is some ghee, some cornflour and some maida. Okay, so I'll just fill this up and catch up with you. Finish covering all of this. Now we have to make a cover for the puffs. So I'm just going to take this remaining pastry to smoothen it out. And just again, just going to make rounds like this. Now since I got these rounds, we're just going to cover the pastry, the puff like this, and just cover it, and again take out the excess from the sides. Okay, and just tuck it in a little nicely so it gives a nice shape. And then just take a sharp knife and just make a cross like this so that the excess air can escape out from once it's baking. So I'll just make all of them like this. I'll show you some. Now if you don't want to take out the excess puff pastry, you can also just tuck it in like this at the side. That gives a nice crunch also to the puff, which I like to do. I don't like to remove the excess. And it's easier to remove the puff also from the mold, and then just make a cross like this. So I'll make all of them and then we'll show you the next process. there is the fun of the show. I've just taken an egg white, I've just beaten it up a little, and we are going to brush the top of this with the egg white. Now what it does is it gives it a lovely glaze. I've tried putting butter, I've tried putting ghee, but it doesn't give the same glaze as a egg white. And now I've preheated my oven and put a baking paper down on the board, because otherwise some of the egg white leaves a stain and it becomes very difficult to scrape it off the baking tray. So now I'm going to put this into my preheated oven and bake it at 180 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. So I'm just going to pop this in the oven, and now I'll just show you the function. So here I'm going to go on the bake function. So we press this and we go on the, I want to go on this function, the bake function. So it goes all over till it comes, okay, now it's come on the bake. You can see the bake is blinking. Now I have to change the time, the temperature, that is the upper heater, I make it 190, the lower heater or the rod at 190, and I'm going to bake this for 25 minutes. And now I'll press the start button, and there my lovely chicken puffs are all going to get ready. So this is a really good oven. I leave the link of, I got this on Amazon. I'll leave the link of it on in the description box below, as well as in my shop list. So I'll meet you after 25 minutes and show you this amazing chicken puffs. And here I'm just waiting for them to get ready. Don't they look amazing? Let me just open the oven and show you. I can't wait to dig in. Out of the oven. Don't they look really amazing? So we're just going to let them cool down before we demold them. And like I had told you before, the egg white tends to sprinkle everywhere when you're brushing it. That's why I always put a baking paper down so that it saves your baking tray. So let's wait for it to cool, and then I'll just demold it completely before we demold them. So let them be out for about 10 to 15 minutes till they completely cool, and you can actually demold them and handle them easily. And now I can easily demold them after they've completely cooled down, and you can see that even the base has nicely baked, and it comes out of the mold so easily because we had buttered the mold and because they're really baked very, very well. So in this way I've made my lovely chicken puffs. You can fill in any filling of your choice. You can go with a different type of chicken recipe. You can even add some mushroom recipe. You can use vegetables. You can do anything of your choice and make these lovely puffs. Eggless puff pastry, which has no butter in it either. So here I have 1.5 cup of all-purpose flour or maida. We're going to use just a pinch of salt, 2 tablespoons of clarified butter, and 1/4 cup of water. Now I'm just going to empty the flour onto my work surface, and I'm going to add a pinch of salt, and then I'm going to add the clarified butter or the ghee into the flour, and then with my fingertips I'm just going to let all of the ghee get really into the maida till it starts to resemble breadcrumbs. So this should take you about 3 whole minutes, but do this process. It's very important to get that lovely light puff pastry. And now you can see that it all of the ghee has got into the maida. Now you're just going to add a little water at a time, and you're going to knead this into a nice firm yet elastic dough. So it shouldn't be a soggy dough, it shouldn't be a very dry dough. It should be a real soft dough.
and very, very elastic. So take your time with it and keep kneading it really, really well till it becomes really nice and soft. And then you're just going to set it aside and let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now, in the meantime, you're going to prepare a mixture of half a cup of corn flour and 1/4 cup of clarified butter or ghee. And you're going to mix this really well using a whisk or a fork till it becomes very light and creamy. So this took me about 5 minutes, but this is also very important. And now I'm going to dust my work surface with some flour, and I'm going to roll out the dough, and I'm going to cut it up into exactly 6 portions, and we're going to really knead this well till it forms nice smooth balls. So this is an eggless recipe. It has no butter at all, so it just has clarified butter. So once the balls are ready, again you're going to dust a little bit of flour on your work surface, and you're going to roll out each of these 6 balls into very thin sheets like this, or rotis. And since it's very elastic, it's very easy to work with. It has a different consistency, so roll all of these 6 sheets and just keep them aside. Now I'm going to put a little bit of that corn flour and ghee mixture that we prepared. Rub it all over the sheet really, really well to all of the corners. And then you're going to place one of the other sheet on top of it and just bring it to the same shape. Now you can roll all your sheets out, or like I am doing, I'm rolling, one at a time, and because of the space. And then again, I'm going to add a little more of that corn flour and ghee mixture, spread it out, and then take those 2 sheets, place it on top, and then again roll it till they all come together. So in this way, we're going to repeat the process till we are done with all of the 6 sheets. So now we're done with all of the 6 sheets. So now just put the remaining paste on top of this, on top of the topmost sheet, and then just fold it up like this. And then you're just going to roll it out as flat as possible. That way all the sheets have come together. And then you're just going to roll it out into a big sheet like this as much as you can. And it's so elastic once you make this.
So wasn't that a lovely and simple recipe? Of course, do remember to keep your puff pastry refrigerated when you're not using it. And also, you can add any additions to your filling, like you can add some vegetables, like some chopped up carrots or French beans. You can just be very innovative with the chicken puff. So I came up with this recipe because I've been going to Bandra recently, and I found that the prices of chicken puffs have really soared up. Of course, the size is much bigger than the ones I make at home because I have the smaller molds. You can buy the bigger molds I bought them from Cheap Jack, but you can buy the little bigger molds also. But these are nice and dainty and they look really nice. So this is a great tiffin item to give your kids. It's a great snack, evening tea time snack. You can also make it as a starter for your parties, and it's so delicious. For those of you who love chicken puffs, this is like it's one of my favorite snacks. Even compared to a chicken patties, I love chicken puffs. So I hope you like today's recipe, and I do hope you give it a try. Do let me know about how you like the recipe in the comments section below. And I always answer all the comments except the rude ones. I delete them instantly because there are people who write a lot of rude things, but I do try and reply to everybody who writes to me. And I will be coming up with more recipes soon. So just stick around to Akshata's recipes and go and check out all my other recipes that I have. And if you're looking out for my recipes in particular on YouTube, just type the recipe and then just put my name, my channel's name, Akshata's Recipes, with an apostrophe S at the side. Like if you're looking for upma, so put upma Akshata's Recipes with an apostrophe S, and you will get my recipe coming up first. or you can come to my channel page, and again there's a search button there. If you search over there, you'll get it. So thank you so much for being with me here today and sharing the time with me looking at my recipe. I'll catch you soon in another recipe, and till then, take care of yourself and be kind to one another, and I'll catch you soon. Bye guys.